So in this video, I'm going to talk about two good things that have happened to me in my life, one thing that I'm going to now start to improve on, and then just an update on work and life. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is Duncan Alderdice, and the reason I'm making these videos is to document the journey I take as I become who I am by making small improvements to my life every single day. So we're going to start with the dials and demos booked on the day, because this is trying to keep my activity up. Only 14 dials booked, only 14 dials made. Okay, however, I repeat again, 4 demos booked, one of which came through LinkedIn from previous work that had occurred, one of which was technically a Dibsy thing that then was for somebody else, but then I booked that for them, still counting it as accounts, and then 2 of them were demos that I booked for myself. Now, specifically, so that's really good. Specifically in regards to the demos booked, this is the one small improvement that I'm going to try to make, is that when I make the bookings, I'm going to make them for either the same day or the next day. Specifically, what I'm introducing here is the idea of a same-day booking. That's what I had today, that one that came through the LinkedIn. It was a really short, only 10-minute demo, but I think more what is occurring is the fact that what isn't going to happen is I'm going to get no-showed far less. That's really the point. So if I can talk to more people, yes, it wasn't the best demo in terms of a process orientation, process-wise, but it was a seed planted. And I think it's more, if I can get less time on my calendar vacant doing nothing and more time occupied talking to somebody, even if that talking to somebody isn't as effective talking to somebody as it could be, ineffective talking to somebody is better than not talking to somebody. So we're just going to try to increase the show rate by decreasing the amount of time I'd spend on, like the 2 demos I booked for myself, one of which technically was an on-the-fly demo. Okay, we'll get into that one. One was the same day through LinkedIn, one was for tomorrow. Also going to start doing video calls because I've gotten comfortable enough with the script to host them virtually. Then there was another on-the-fly demo kind of thing, which instead of being like, here's the cold call, then book the other time, then host the demo, it's like we host the demo and discuss pricing on that first call. It got to a point where there were more people that needed to be involved, and I'm glad that I brought that question up, which actually was in the conversation of the objection handling presentation that went well, which is another thing that I'm going to talk about. But specifically in the thing to the on-the-fly demo idea is there were more people involved. So what the worst case scenario would have been is I book the time and then we go through the presentation only to discover the fact that they're not the only person that I need to talk to. Better get to that same outcome here. And even if this goes nowhere, at least I got to the same outcome that would have been over there sooner. So that's the kind of idea of doing more on the fly, more same day or next day bookings, just increase that show rate. That's what we'd like to see. Now, in terms of the objection handling presentation and training thing that was hosted today that I was talking about yesterday a lot, it went very well. The thing that was actually very insightful was within the sort of objection handling framework, the first few steps is like stay calm, mirror, and label. Mirror, when you mirror someone, essentially that's repeating the last 3 words. The last 3 words, yes, the last 3 words, because when you repeat the last 3 words, that'll actually encourage them to say and expand more on what they just said. What they just said, yeah, it makes them actually feel comfortable speaking more, like you get like the sort of point. This was a concept that I learned through Chris Voss's Never Split the Difference. Initially, it's all over the place sort of thing, but what I found fascinating, because the 2 people, there was one person who was relatively new to sales, the other person had like a decade's worth of experience in sales, and both of them had not heard of the mirroring concept before, which I found fascinating, because I was going like, oh, okay, so there still is things to be taught, and not everybody know, like it's that consensus bias, I think is the word, where you believe more people think like you than actually do as a consequence of you thinking the way that you do and only seeing your world. But I'm more thinking it's I don't know if it's consensus, it's more something where I believe the information that I have is more widespread than it actually is. So it was cool to be actually able to bring that sort of concept to them, and both of them, they seem talented, and I believe they have potential to do well. But it was just cool to actually do that. It went well too. The presentation, I created rough slides from the notes that I made yesterday before it. that was constrained to about like 10-15 minutes of the building rapport, kind of like talking before and then doing the presentation, and then the rest of it was actually spent like practicing. At the end of it, they both said that they learned a lot, so that was cool to be able to actually do. So that was a positive. I was happy about that, and then I think just more and recognizing that there are things that I may know and take for granted as things that everyone knows that not necessarily everyone might not necessarily know. So that's cool. The other good thing, so what have I covered? I covered the one small improvement, update on work, going to do life next. One positive thing that happened that was sweet, as well as, and then so the other thing is a person who joined the school crew, they filled out the personality test, hadn't heard from them in a bit. They've been sent me a message after a while, just being like, hey, sorry for the late reply, just like whatever, that progress is being made in that direction. Won't go into more detail about that, but it just was nice to see that there was activity on that. There was someone who joined the group who then I messaged to get like, see if they needed help creating the their introduction paragraph, and then they left. So I think I scared them away, but as a consequence, I believe that like I can't take that as a reason I shouldn't follow up with people. I do need to follow up. Some people will find it a bit too persistent. That's okay. The point of the group is to become who you are with confidence and power. And a lot of that sometimes will rub people the wrong way, which just is an indication of it's not the right group for them, and that is okay. Update on life would have just been that yesterday I sent out 8 more Hinge likes and answers, and of the this week 19 messages that I have sent out, 0 have replied. So we don't know whether or not what I'm doing is wrong. We don't know whether or not it's just the actual kind of profile. The tough part is like I can make my profile a bit more vanilla, but I'm not vanilla. So then it's like, so it's tough. It's like figuring out, am I saying too much? Am I scaring people away? Am I just not being seen? We don't know. All we can do is control the inputs. We can continue to send out likes, messages, questions, see what works. We will learn. If we do it at a high enough volume over a long enough time horizon, perhaps it will require a financial investment just to ensure. Because if I invest and pay for it, then I can guarantee that my messages are being seen. If I can guarantee that my messages are being seen and my profile, then I can learn that my messages suck or my profile sucks. Because right now it's like, is it my messages or my profile, or is it the fact no one's seeing it? Because those are two very different things. The background still is messy. I do need to do a better job of doing that. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna empty some, I ordered a bookshelf as well and an ottoman. So I can empty the boxes with books in them and have an ottoman for my legs. Clementine Club, thanks for sticking around as always, and remember to believe in yourself because you're more capable of doing great things than you give yourself credit. I'll talk to you later.